Shalom everybody, hope you're doing well, hope your week was great. Getting ready for Shabbat here in the land of Israel. And a lot of new beginnings already starting this week with kids going back to school and people saying goodbye to the summertime and going through in our own individual ways a process of renewal, of new beginnings. But really the biggest new beginning is a few weeks away with Rosh Hashanah, right? The new year in the Jewish calendar. And this entire month that we're in right now, the month of Elul, right, for which this is the second Shabbat, is really an entire month dedicated and devoted to preparation for this one day, for this day of Rosh Hashanah, for this new beginning, for the beginning of the new year. And as we end one year and begin anew, we take an entire month to really look back, to look within. What have we done? What did we not yet get to do? Who have we been? Who do we want to be? And ask all those great questions and those necessary questions that we need to ask as human beings in this world. And the Torah portions in this Chodesh really help guide that process and guide that journey through this month, again, culminating with Rosh Hashanah itself. So I wanted to share one short teaching from this week's Torah portion, Teitze, that I believe really speaks to this time that we're in and this preparation that we're meant to be doing right now, and how we can be aided by the Torah portion itself. So in the Torah portion it says, among many other things, it says, it shares with us a unique mitzvah. It says, Lo tacharosh b'shor uv'chamor v'chamor yachdav. That when you're out in the field, and most of us don't really work in the fields anymore, but back thousands of years ago, even hundreds of years ago, most people were still working on the land. Most people were still involved in agriculture directly. Most people were farmers of some sort. And farmers were given a special mitzvah that when you're plowing your field with your animals, make sure that you don't plow a single plow with both an ox and a donkey together. And there's obvious things that come out of this mitzvah, less than obvious things. The obvious thing is, well, you have an ox and a donkey. Well, the ox is much stronger, and it's going to be very hard for the donkey to keep up. So we're learning this idea of compassion and mercy for the animals, not to force them to endure suffering while they work for us, basically. So that's on the simple level. On a deeper level, I saw, and I apologize that I don't remember the source right now, but a real deeper sense of sensitivity for the animals, that the shur and the chamor are two very, very different animals. The shur, the ox, chews its cud, and the donkey doesn't. And when they're both out in the field working, and they've eaten, they've had their lunch break, and they've been given food to eat, that they again get back to work. And at some point during the working time, the shur, the ox is naturally going to bring up its cud and start chewing it again. And the donkey is going to look over to the ox and be like, wait, why is he getting food again and I'm not? What the donkey doesn't understand, obviously, is that the ox isn't getting more food. No one gave him more food. He's just regurgitating the food that he already eaten back up into his mouth and chewing it again, and then we'll swallow that again. But he doesn't realize that, right? The donkey thinks that he's getting a whole new meal, a brand new meal, right? And that's psychological pain to the donkey, and that's causing psychological pain to the donkey, and we don't want to cause that either. We don't want to be part of that. So that's another level of understanding of this mitzvah. And I want to share one more level, which comes from the Me'orav Shemesh. And he says like this, that the shur and the chamor in this pasuk, in this verse, are really representing different aspirations that we have or could have, and different aspects of our life. He explains that the shur is a symbol for a very high spiritual level, something that people can aspire to and yearn for and work towards. Right? The shur, using the language of the shur and bring that another pasuk from somewhere else, he says that the word shur again is talking about spiritual aspirations that we could have and ideally should have in this world. Really this work that we're trying to be part of in this world. The word chamor comes from the Hebrew word chomiyut, right, which is physicality, which is gashmiut, which is like the earthly essence of this world. And that's typically frowned upon, right, in the eyes of the Torah and Judaism as a spiritual path. Of course, we live in a physical world. We're physical beings. We need physical items to sustain our existence, of course. But chumiyot really usually infers this idea of where we're being swamped by physicality, by materialism, where we're engaging too much. We're being trapped by our use of the physical world. So again, of course, we're supposed to use the physical world in order to sustain ourselves and in order to be in this world, but we're not supposed to be trapped by it. We're not supposed to be led off of our way. We're not supposed to be led astray, so to speak, by the physicality and the materialism of this world. So in this one verse, we're told, don't work together with this high spiritual aspiration, and at the same time this chumriyut, this gashmi, this real kind of like base physicality, because it won't work. Don't bring them together because they can't be together. It's like oil and water. If you have this high spiritual aspiration in this world, so if you are engrossed and engaged and busy by the physical world too much, you're never going to reach it. You're never going to achieve your goal. Your aspiration will just stay an aspiration, never to be fulfilled. Right? Again, use the physical world to the point that you need to, but don't be led astray by the physical world, where you forget about your spiritual aspirations and you're held back by fulfilling them. Right? So this is an important lesson, I think, for the Chodesh of Elul, the month of Elul that we're in right now, again, preparation for Rosh Hashanah. And we see this, I think, again, in the Torah portion at the very, very beginning. The very, very beginning of this Torah portion, right? Ki Teitze, it says, Ki Teitze le'belchama ad oivecha, when you go out to war against your enemy. And of course, it's talking about a normal war with soldiers going out against enemies, but as we learn so often, there's deeper levels of understanding every single verse of the Torah. And we can understand this verse is also when you go out. When you go out, right? There's times in our life where we need to go out. We need to go beyond who we've been up until now. We need to remove ourselves, so to speak, from everything we ever have been in the past and become new, become our future selves. Because as long as we're trapped in the past of who we've been, as long as we're trapped in this mindset of, well, I've always been this way, so I need to continue to always be this way, we'll never fully become who we are and need to be in this world. So Ki Teitze, when we go out, shed your skin just like the snake. Shed your skin, and who are you going to be this new year? Right? Again, the beautiful timing right before Rosh Hashanah, a few weeks before, we're being told, okay, Yalla, so you had an amazing year. I hope you had a year. Right? Some of it was good, some of it was maybe less, but go out from it now. It's ending. What's going to be with the new year? Right? So again, this idea of going out, le'milchama oivecha, to war against your enemy. Right? Another way of understanding this is not a physical enemy, but a spiritual enemy. Right? The enemy that tries to hold us back from becoming who we are, and who we can be, and who we need to be, and who we're destined to be. And oftentimes that oivecha, that enemy, is the physicality, is the materialism, is our physical lusts and desires that bring us off of our way, off of our path. So sometimes it's a narrow bridge, but we shouldn't have fear, right? Sometimes it seems like a very narrow path, and how are we ever going to walk on it? But we can succeed. Many have before, and we're encouraged that we can as well. And just bringing this all together, that we should be blessed to seek out only the highest spiritual aspirations for ourselves, and work towards those. Use the physical world along the way as much as we need, but not too much. And not get drowned in the physical world. So much so, not be so engaged in the physical world too much that it blinds us from our true purpose in this world. May this Shabbat be an aid and a tool in this process as we get closer and closer every day, step by step towards Rosh Hashanah, when we really try to dedicate ourselves and our lives to pure goodness and righteousness, and becoming, again, who we need to be and are meant to be in this world. Sending lots of love and blessings from the land of Israel. Shabbat Shalom.